The vast majority of individuals say that they've been in a toxic relationship before. It's not an epidemic. At this point, it's normal. Now, I'm not going to go into detail and tell you exactly why you're in a toxic relationship. I'm going to do you one better. I'm going to tell you how to get out. Why do we keep getting stuck? I've spent a long time analyzing that question, literally years. And from what I can see, either you don't know how to spot them, you don't know how to get out, or you don't even know what you're looking for in the first place. So you need to have a basic guidebook of information you can reference so that you can navigate a bad relationship. People get into toxic relationships to cope with past sins, emotional instability, and emotional abuse. An easy way for you to trick yourself into a bad position is to tell yourself it's a good one. You're not in a toxic relationship, you're fixing them. You can't save somebody. It's impossible. You might have been in a parental position as a child, in a bad family situation which skewed your view on relationships. Hell, you might just feel sorry for your partner, or maybe you're a genuinely good person and you actually want to help them. It doesn't really matter. You can't force someone to fix themselves. All you can do is take a step back, support them, and provide them with information. If they don't take it, leave. You might also just be trying to ease loneliness. I get it. Loneliness is one of the biggest problems young people face today. As hard as it may sound, you have to be happy in yourself first. If you have a goal, aim for it. It's the best way to connect with like-minded people. If you just want someone to be there for you, that is a hard one. You can try making new connections through social events. If this is you, just talk to someone. Talk to me. My Discord's in the description. I'm here to listen, I'm here to help. Hell, talk your heart out in the comments. I'm sure other viewers have been in a similar situation and are willing to lend you the assistance they wish they had. Just talk to someone. Rarely are you directly and intentionally manipulated, because direct manipulation is incredibly on the nose. It's very easy to spot. Most of the time, when it's happening, you'll know that the person is doing it, or at least, you'll have a feeling that, this might not be true, but you can't 100% verify it. But yeah, it's a numbers game. And eventually, someone who has self-esteem or relationship issues will come along and get trapped with that person, with the first person who gives them attention. You deserve better than that. You probably know it's happening too. There are people here ready to hear you out and to help you. How do you get out of a toxic relationship or situationship? Well, without knowing how to properly let someone down in the best or cleanest way possible, it can be hard to commit to action because you start to doubt yourself, your ability, what are they doing? So you have to get things straight in your head. First things first is the soft approach. This is for, genuinely just not bad relationships, but ones which aren't going anywhere. Maybe you need something else in your life, or you're just incompatible people. If this is the case, you take the soft approach. It can be hard in the best of circumstances to break up with someone. The easiest way to do it is to get your reasons on a list. Maybe you don't have the time, you want something else for your life, or you've got some hard boundary that was broken. Write it all down, get everything sorted in your own head, and make peace with it. Otherwise, you'll just go back. The next level up from the soft approach is the trap. It's not a hard approach. No one's forcing you to stay where you are, but maybe they're manipulating you. Bastards are selfish. They will do and say anything to keep you under their thumb. Anything from using vague statements to how they will feel, all the way to threats of harm, both on themselves and you. It's easy enough to get away from someone who talks you into guilt with words, calling in favors. You owe me this, you owe me that, I've done so much for you, you have to be there for me. Or from using passive-aggressive insults. Okay, well, sure, I'll just go do whatever then. Just call them on their bullshit, know they're weak, and move on. And a list helps with this too, just to make yourself confident in the fact that you're not crazy, because some of these people can be devastating on your mentality if you start to doubt yourself. So the easiest way is to just write every transgression down. That way you can reference it. It's there, it's physical, it's in front of you. They can't deny it, they can't anything. And if they do, they're one hell of a bullshit artist. The hard part is when they trap you with physical consequences, like the aforementioned harm. If they threaten themselves, remember, it's not your responsibility to care for them. Call their family, friends, and dedicated institutions for helping these kinds of people. Inform those people and those places, then just stop responding. It's not your fight, it's not your place. You are not trained for that situation, nor should you be. And even if you are, it's your life, not theirs. Don't give them control over it. If they threaten to directly, physically harm you, you have to call the police for that. That's what they're there for. And you have to take legal action. Preferably get proof. You know, if you can, record the conversation or have witnesses around you, but especially a recording, because it's guaranteed, it's physical, it's there. No one can fake that. It's the best way to get something actually done. If you are not in a position to then report that person, there are support organizations you can contact, and I'll have examples of those in the description if you need a sort of reference on that. All very hard-hitting stuff, I know, but it's not all bad. Happy relationships do exist. Technically speaking, of course. You probably aren't in one and one bed. Real shame. But they do exist. And if you know what to look for, I guarantee you can put yourself in a supportive, committed relationship. Really, the only required thing in a partner is a commitment to change and trial. After that, it's all maintenance and support. Ask your partner questions. Questions generate conversation. At the start of my current relationship, my girl would go on and on about how she didn't think that we might be compatible. I asked why. She told me it was because we don't have the same hobbies, and I responded that it didn't matter, because in the end, it really doesn't matter. We still aren't passionate about each other's pastimes. I hate painting. It's messy, imprecise, and I don't recognize it as an art form. In fact, if you were a painter, you're not an artist. You just put colors on paper that people can interpret in different ways. It's not art, it's completely different. Anyway, she doesn't find games or weightlifting half as interesting as I do. Yet we still enjoy each other's company. And when one of us wants to do something, we plan to do it together, and we do it regardless of feelings. So despite how painting isn't, legally speaking, in my professional, unprofessional opinion, an art form, I would still paint with her if she put up an easel, she got some canvas and was like, baby, we're painting whatever the hell. Together, we're gonna make an image, we're gonna put it on a wall. I'd still do it. We never run out of things to talk about despite this, because we always ask each other questions about anything that comes to mind. So she might ask how my day is, I might respond with a 3-word sentence, and then she'll rant for, I don't know, 3, 4, 10 minutes. Something like that, something great. Conversation, something to talk about. Or I always like to hit her with something weird, something unexpected and completely out of the blue, because I love bullshitting. It's like 30% of my personality. It's great. And that's always endlessly entertaining. So just do something, just ask anything, even if it's not interesting to them. Come up with a joke around something you do. Just something not ordinary, just creative. At the most basic level, if you can't intuit your partner's needs, you don't need to. You can always run a purely transactional relationship. Sure, it's not ideal and there's no romance in business, but it will be functional and you will add more value to each other's lives. You will, over time, then learn your partner's needs and work for each other instead of against each other, which will slowly evolve into learning each other better and being able to actually do things for each other on a deeper level than the purely transactional. This is kind of how me and my brother first learned how to live together. We ran it on a purely transactional basis for years, everything, you know, doing clothes, mowing the lawn, whatever the hell that needed to be done, it was all transactions. Oh, this is unfair, this is unfair. And you know, you have a general sense of what's valuable, what's easiest to do for one person, what's easiest to do for another person. But over time, it finally kind of clicked that it doesn't matter. Things just need doing, and it doesn't matter which one of you is going to do it. In the end, you're living together, you're both benefiting from it, so just shut the hell up and do it. And the other person, when asked, if you're doing things when asked, will always just do it anyway. So it's like, you know, oh no, I can't do this, I've done this. Shut up, do it anyway. I don't care if you do 5 things and I ask you 5 things. If I ask you 5 things, it's because I've done 5 things too. So over time, that evolves into a more sort of fair system where you just get shit done and you add value to each other instead of bickering over the bullshit. Relationships are about adding value to each other's lives. If you take away from that, if at the end of the day you're arguing or you're trying to fix your partner's bad habits, which you don't have to be personally responsible for, then you're better off single, because you are adding more hardship into the other person's life than you are value. So you have to know how to get out of a bad relationship, find out if it's a bad relationship, and know what to look for in the first place. It's not a complicated list. It's not a big one either. It mostly comes down to being practical, being polite, not crossing other people's boundaries, and being there for the other person when they ask you to be. In the end, if you can follow that basic rule book, because it's all really laid out for you, it's not hard to intuit yourself and to figure out what you actually need to do, then you will have a successful, fulfilling relationship that'll last you your entire life if you need it to be that way.